Today, I would like to do a piece on a guy named Crazy Pope. I have a series called Crip Gods, and this guy is one of the major guys that I ran into in Los Angeles, 4800, that was a major Crip in the Five Deuce Broadway's organization. I had seen this guy in 4800. He was tall, slim, with nice wavy hair, light-skinned guy, cut up, and he looked like a Greek god. One of the reasons how I actually came in contact with this guy is because I was in a cell with a guy named JJ from Compton, Joe Baby, Bulldog from ABC, Bodine, and maybe it was some other guy, a guy in there in a six-man cell with like six of us in there. This guy I used to see in front of my cell every day. And the reason he was in front of my cell every day is because he used to play poker with JJ. These two guys was playing poker like you play poker in Las Vegas. They was playing with cash money. They was playing with 20, 50s, and $100 bills. And I always would see Pope at the bars playing through the bars with JJ from Compton. This is how I first seen Crazy Pope. I heard that he was in jail for whatever his crime was, and I heard that he was one of the major guys that was from Five Deuce Broadway. Now, one of the reasons that I really paid attention to Crazy Pope was because all of the Crips loved him. All of the Crips respected him. All of the Crips liked him. And to make this story even more dramatic is I seen Crazy Pope always shadow boxing, always slap boxing. He was a real serious guy. He was an Orlean 4800. I guess he was fighting his case and they let him be Orlean. But he had a control over a lot of guys that was young, that was always feisty, that was always getting in trouble. And Crazy Pope was he looked like he was like 6'5" or 6'4", but he looked like he was 7 feet. That's how much of a statue he was to us. And I come to know him from a guy named Blue from 7'6", Hoover Sam, Tweet. It was a lot of Orleans in there that always used to talk to Pope in a certain style and a certain way. Now, to make this story even better, 20 years later, after Pope went to prison, I moved to Texas. Pope was in prison. I moved to Texas with a young lady I met. Now, while I was in Texas, I was doing what I usually do, making money, getting money. And one day, my mom came and told me, she said, listen, I just left LA, I brought all your cars down here, and I want you to buy me a house out here in Texas. I said, okay, I'll do that. But she said, first I gotta go down here to Louisiana, and I'll be back in a few days. She said, oh, by the way, I brought your brother down here. I say, well, all right, that's cool. And while my brother was down here, my brother was on a jacking spree. He was doing a lot of crazy things that I didn't like, and he was doing a lot of crazy things that a lot of people didn't like. But my mom brought him down here and gave him a car. And he was riding around doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Now, he was accused of some stuff that he didn't do because he ran to LA, and they came out there and got him. But to make this story so crazy is that he ended up marrying Crazy Pope's sister. This is how this story connect. He ended up marrying Crazy Pope's sister, I called her Dee Dee. I think her name is Noonie or something like that, Dee Dee. But my homie Turk told me her name. I always called her Dee Dee. We really didn't get along that good because my brother was doing some crazy stuff and she was doing some crazy stuff with him. They was what you call Bonnie and Clyde down here in Fort Worth. And I really didn't care for their relationship or their marriage because they was married to Robin. That's what they was doing. They was down here doing some crazy stuff, and now he have Crazy Pope's sister with him. So I told my mom, I said, listen, you need to get him out of here because he's doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So while I was in the hospital one day, a girl told me that she seen my brother break in the house, my house. So I said, yeah, okay. Oh, that's all right. I'll find them out what's going on. Now, while I was in the hospital, Tommy and Dee Dee was running around jacking stuff. And this story is crazy because when I was in the hospital, Tommy and Dee Dee was robbing stuff and she gets shot on a robbery. While I was in the hospital, somebody came and told me that not only that my brother was downstairs, his wife was in the hospital downstairs under me from being shot in a robbery. So while I was in there, she was downstairs, and I was wondering what was all this commotion about. Come to find out, she was downstairs shot, and I was upstairs shot, and she was in the hospital the same time I was for doing some stuff with him. Now, after she got shot, I guess the wound wasn't really that bad or was that deep, but I heard it was like a big shootout with them. And I know that she was in the hospital and I was in the hospital, and when she would come upstairs and talk to my family, because she was a part of the family, and I would be like, what happened? But they didn't want to tell me what had happened, but I know that she was his equal. They was equally yoked. They was on doing crazy stuff, and I don't know if she say she was pregnant, so that's why I gave a little sympathy to them, because she was supposed to be pregnant, and I know that she was doing crazy stuff with him. But at the same time, this is how come I know about Dee Dee and Crazy Pope's sister, because she was one of the ones that told me one day, she said, yeah, Ron, I know you don't like me that much, but everything, but Crazy Pope is my brother. And when she told me that, I didn't know that, I thought she was jobbing. She said, no, Crazy Pope, my brother. So I had a different attitude towards her, because I know that Crazy Pope is one of the main guys from Fondue's Broadway, and this is his sister. So I have to show her a little bit more respect, because I didn't respect her that much at first because I didn't know who she was. I thought she just came down there with my brother and was doing a bunch of stuff because that was his wife. And at the end of the day, they was married. That's what he told me, they was married. And they was together, and they was a Bonnie Clyde team, and they did a lot of things down here that they did them together, and they went on robberies together. They was in shootouts together, and that's how come I found out that Crazy Pope was her brother. And years later, I end up hearing that Crazy Pope got out, and a lot of the homies that was from East Coast that really respected him and always admired him, and they went to his coming home party, and they said it was a bunch of people there that respected him, that was waiting for him to get out of jail, and now he's out. And I'm kind of glad that he got out. But this is a story about a Crip God that's from Los Angeles that I had an opportunity to meet as I was a youngster, and I always kept in my mind, and I always kept in the back of my mind that this guy was somebody special, and I always remember how tall he was and how much of a figure he was in 4800, and he was remind me of like when in the days of Rome, when they had all these gods, and he's a Crip God out of Los Angeles.